There was an eerie silence in the Green Hill Zone. Not a single sound was heard except the quiet, howling wind. No animals or Mobians in particular were in sight. Green Hill was nothing but a ghost town, along with Angel Island and various other places. A red muscular Zeti enters the dead obedient Green Zone. Zavok was wanting answers as to who killed 5 of his Zeti crew. He was well known to be a mighty leader of the Deadly Six, and had no idea what had unfolded, but one thing's for sure, he was aware of the deaths of the 5 of the Zeti, and seeing how they were murdered in such a gruesome way, not only fueled something in him, but for what felt like ages, he was very disgusted. Zavok has been such brutally before, but not in a way that was too violent. He remembered how they all died, Zaz being the first to go. The insane, wild, purple Zeti was last seen in eerie Green Hills before something that Zavok assumed it was Sonic ended up snapping Zaz's neck. Zaz's death was quick and painless, and had no time to react with a quick reflex. Master Zeke was the second. He tried to get away after realizing there was no fighting this thing, and only pierced in the head by a sharp tree branch, exposing his parts of brain. Master Zeke was always the wise Zeti, and it pained Zavok to see his master get killed in such a way. Zomom was the third, a Zeti who was overweight and had an unhealthy addiction to consuming too much food. Zomom wasn't fast enough to escape this thing, as he was impaled by the white-gloved hand, and his heart was torn out. The yellow overweight Zeti died within seconds, the moment his heart was ripped out from his chest. Xena, who was the green Zeti, died in strangulation. She tried to fight the thing that put her in such a tight chokehold, but no matter how hard she tried, she started to weaken before going limp from the tight grasp. Then lastly, Zor would soon meet his fate. He was a Gothic Zeti who suffered from depression. He barely had time to react before the thing killed him by bashing his skull into a hard rock, causing his head to split open, and his blood and brain matter would splatter all over. Zor even cried and begged for the pain to stop before his death. Usually Zor was numb to the pain, but that feeling he had before his death was upsetting. As if that thing had showed him how pain really felt before death. As Zavok entered the Green Hill Zone, he was immediately caught off guard by the atmosphere. He looked down at the water. The water wasn't normal from the last time he entered Green Hill Zone to start to cause trouble. The water was red, almost like blood, and he looked at the sky and noticed how dark the sky was. Sure, he's seen similar skies like this before, but how the sky looked was even more unsettling. He knew something was off, and more questions circled around him. He wandered, and as he did, saw corpses. Dozens of dead animal corpses were lying everywhere, even corpses of Flickies. Zavok, who has been slightly seen death all around him, but seeing how they were killed caused his stomach to churn, as he saw organs and body parts scattered everywhere, and an awful stench of decay made it worse. Zavok swallowed as he tried not to let all this disturb him. He was the mighty leader. Usually he's not the one all settled seeing such sights, but this all felt too different. Then another question circled around him that slowly began to boggle his mind. Would Sonic have done all this? As much as he despised Sonic, he shouldn't be this worried, but if he had anything to do with this, why his Zeti crew was killed. If Sonic was also responsible for that, then he had to know. He can't turn back or stop. He had to know. He stopped now, or turned back. He would not get the answers if he's wanting. Suddenly a loud demonic laugh echoed throughout the eerie atmosphere. Zavok stopped, tail flicking as he clenched his fists, getting to himself into a defensive stance. He looked around to see where the laugh had came from. I have been expecting when you'd finally show up. The demonic voice spoke low and sinisterly. Zavok darted around, trying to find where the voice was coming from. Show yourself, he shouted in demand, as he wasn't the type to play mind games. Then the figure showed itself and it appeared to be directly in front of Zavok, its body flickering in and out as it appeared before making itself completely invisible. Zavok's heart skipped a beat as he saw who this thing was. It was Sonic, or what looked like Sonic, but his features were unnerving. Sonic's eyes were pitch black, showing 2 red dots as he was bleeding from the eye sockets. His blue fur seemed to have also darkened slightly, as he had the most menacing grin on his face, revealing jagged teeth. Zavok had never seen such horror before. He was taken aback by this. The demonic Sonic chuckled. What's wrong, Zavok? I thought you were almighty and fearless and merciless. But did that go away suddenly? Sonic mocked as he can smell this and sense the fear in the red Zeti. Zavok just shook his head, trying desperately to hide it, but he knew it won't do much. Where are my Zeti crew, Sonic? Zavok spat out, demanding to know. I know you have something to do with this. Sonic smirked, finally figuring out. I see, he chuckled. Oh yes, I was the one who killed them, and you're too stupid to try and save them. Rage and horror rose in Zavok's arms, trembling. I should have known. His body shook violently. Sonic grinned as if enjoying the rage and fear in the red Zeti. Did I strike a nerve? Good. Maybe it'll teach you pathetic Zeti a lesson about stepping in here uninvited. Zavok just growled, I'll make you pay for this! He bellowed as he lunged at Sonic, attempting to throw a punch at the demonic hedgehog, but Sonic vanished before Zavok could strike him. Sonic then appeared behind the red Zeti. Zavok tried to attack Sonic again, but Sonic vanished before the red Zeti could even blow a strike. It was like a game of tag, and eventually, after several tries, Zavok collapsed into his knees, panting heavily in both a mixture of rage and exhaustion. Sonic then appeared in front of Zavok, inches close to now the red Zeti, who was close to breaking. Zavok tried again, raising his fists up to try and punch Sonic again, but Sonic didn't dodge. Instead, he grabbed the Zeti's fist tight, stopping him from trying to blow another strike. Sonic tuttered in mocking disapproval, shaking his head. Now, when you're going to learn, Zavok? I'm too fast for you. Now, if you want to see your precious Zeti crew, maybe it's best you stop fighting. Zavok just huffed, ignoring the pain in Sonic's putting through his fist. He had no other choice but to obey, as fighting this hedgehog was impossible. Yet he had no idea how this demonic hedgehog could have been this fast and strong. Sonic smirked. Good now. Before I show them, perhaps you should see the rest I killed before them, in case you ever wonder why everyone else is gone and why it's all quiet. The atmosphere in the dark sky suddenly began to show various familiar faces of Mobians, and others being that were all dead and lifeless. Many who also have even lost color. Some Zavok knew, some he didn't know up till now. There was darkness of dead, lifeless were Tails, Knuckles, Eggman, Amy, Cream, Sally, Rouge, Shadow, Silver, Blaze, Jet, Wave, Storm, Vector, Espio, Charmy, and many others who had suffered the same fate as the hands of the demon. Even Dr. Starline fell to his fate, which now makes Zavok wonder, even though it shouldn't matter to him, but was Sonic himself dead too? And whatever this demon imposture of Sonic was, he was way more merciless than far more violent than anything. However, that's not what got Zavok the moment the 5 of his Zeti crew were revealed. Zavok's heart slowly dropped. There were Zaz, Master Zeke, Zonam, Xena, and Zor. They all looked dead and lifeless. Zaz, who was once purple now, his entire skin changed to a more darker gray, and his eyes were black and hollowed, bleeding from their sockets. One of his horns were missing. Master Zeke's skin looked pale as a sheet, his eyes now hollow, black, and bleeding, his mustache dropped and having a full gray color. Zomam's skin color was once yellow and was now a dark tan color. Half of his flesh from his side was bleeding. He looked like he had a carcass with meat rotting. He also had hollow black and bleeding. Xena's skin color was once green, now had a darker green. Her horn was half chipped off. Her eyes as well as the hollow black and bleeding. Her tail was also slightly bitten off. Zor's skin was a darker gray. His purple hair was now a darker purple. His horns were half chipped off. His lips were torn from exposing his teeth and gums. His eyes, as well as the rest, were hollow, black, and bleeding. Zavok stared at the both of them, and in both horror, what felt like ages, guilt. He wished he was there dreaming, that this was all just a nightmare and it wasn't real. Zavok closed his eyes tight, praying that this was all a dream, but the moment he opened them back up, it was all too real. What felt like ages, Zavok lowered his head and quietly began to weep. He blamed himself for failing the 5 Zeti crew, blaming himself for not being all best mighty clear of the deadly 6, blame for himself not for knowing what madness was unfolding, therefore causing him to lose the ones he called family. Zavok spoke as low as he choked back sobs. Fresh tears ran down his cheeks. Zaz, Zor, Xena, Zomom, Master Zeke. He exhaled in shaky breaths as he cried, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know this would happen. It's my fault. My fault for not knowing sooner, otherwise you would have been not killed. I failed you both. I failed you all as a mighty leader. Zavok then buried his face into the shaking, trembling hands as he silently sobbed, guilt and regret washing over him. He hadn't cried in so long. He felt like a total failure for failing the leader of the Deadly 6. As he wept, Sonic just chuckled, snapping Zavok out of grief. He turned to look at the demon Sonic with a mixture of anger and hatred and sadness. But he wasn't trying to fight him again, knowing his demon hedgehog was too strong and fast. Zavok was out of his choices now, and is not sure what to do. Leave Green Hill? If he tried that, there would be no escape. He wasn't a coward, and fleeing wasn't his thing. He had come to the realization that he fell into the trap and that he'd be next to die. So if you're not Sonic, then what are you? Who are you? Zavok asked, voice shaky still. The demon Sonic tilted his head. Finally realized I'm not the real Sonic. He chuckled. No, the real Sonic is gone. Those refer to me as Sonic.EXE. I am the most powerful and strongest merciless demon in existence. After Sonic died, I was reborn and I killed all of his friends and many other Mobians in existence, including your Zeti crew. And now, you're the last one to shall join them. And then kicked to Zavok that he was indeed not the real Sonic. Sonic died in an accident and many of his friends were at his funeral. One, though, who could not accept that he was gone was Amy, the one who was very lovesick for Sonic. Many Mobians who loved the Blue Burglar had to cope with the tragedy of his passing. Zavok? He had no idea up until now. Much as he despised Sonic, it struck him, and now everyone was dead. He was the last one. Now Sonic.EXE then very slowly got inches close to Zavok. Zavok didn't bother running or fighting. He just stayed where he was as the walls slowly closed in on him. And as they did, that's when Sonic.EXE leaned in close, whispering the last thing at the Red Zeti's ear before finishing up the job. I promise this will only hurt a bit. He impaled Zavok with his sharp clawed hand. Zavok's body went still. The pain was unbearable, but he didn't scream. He didn't cry out in agony. He just coughed and choked as blood oozed from his mouth. Then slowly Sonic.EXE tore out the Red Zeti's heart. Zavok went limp as the whole world around him went black. His body collapsed onto the ground with a loud thud, and now the world is silent once again as Sonic.EXE stared at the corpses of Zavok before laughing demonically, declaring his last and final victory. The atmosphere was silent, and there remained, along with various other souls, was Zavok, his skin color red now having a darker crimson color to it. Chunks of flesh of his sides were missing. His right horn torn in half, his tail slightly cut off, and his eyes, like the rest, were all hollow and black, bleeding from the sockets. Sonic.EXE smiled to himself, very pleased with his collection of souls, and that his work was finally complete. He had won. And that, my pretties, was Sonic.EXE Round 6, The Fate of the Zeti, by King Herman the Wise. My final thoughts on this story? I actually really do thought this story was pretty good because when I first read it, I thought it was a really neat and interesting story. Like, this is basically, Zavok trying to, you know, kill Sonic.EXE, but it doesn't really work out because Sonic.EXE, killed him. So, and it's really messed up that the Zeti crew were killed in horrific ways. But I definitely do have to say is that I do really love this story. I thought it was a really neat Sonic story. Now, I know I have seen other Sonic stories that are just as good, but this one is definitely one of them that is just a really good one. Now, I'm going to sit here and just say I appreciate this story. This story was pretty good. Like, the grammar was good, the sentence structure was good, the storyline about it was just flat out amazing. I personally really found a lot of enjoyability with this story, and I'm really impressed to see how well this story did. Now, I will definitely have to say that for those that have King Herman's email, if you wanna hear this, if you want to, read this story for yourself, you can ask him. So there's that. Also, I do have to say is that it's a really amazing, well done story. I know I've said it before, but I definitely do have to say, it's messed up and gruesome, yes, but it's definitely a really good story. And I love how, Sonic.exe tisked in this one. So, but yeah, I mean, it is messed up, but I have seen worse and heard worse, so this is nothing new to me. But I personally do have to say is that it's a really awesome story. So, King Herman, you did a really good job. I really enjoyed this story a lot. This one was definitely a good one. I definitely really can say is that it's a really good story. I really do like the concept of it. Everything about this story was just amazing. It was just really well done. So, anyways, like I'm always going to say, this is just simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with it, that's perfectly fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these stories. This is just simply my own personal thoughts. I give this story a 10 out of 10. Really well done. It's a really good Sonic story. I really do enjoy it. I find it really fun to do. It's a really good story, and I really definitely have to say is that this is a really good one. I personally really liked it. I thought it was a really neat and well done story. So I guess with that being said, and with that being the case, what did you guys personally think of this story? Did you all enjoy it? Did you all not? Also, what would you have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Feel free to let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm Shadow the Lion Queen. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and if you're new to my channel, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Ring the bell for notifications to when I upload, so that way you guys will not miss an upload. As always, if you guys want to go follow me on Blue Sky, follow me on Twitter, follow me on DeviantArt, and follow me on my backup channel known as Mr. Arshigo, as links to those will be in the About page section, so you guys can go follow me on there. As always, I'll be catching you guys all in the next video. Peace out, and like always, roll the outro, because I'm out.
What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Ms. Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, please stay pretty.